Hello teacups, what's brewing? It's been quite the couple of days. We've got a lot to get through. So the lives we're going to be covering today include, they've all got very similar names, which made it wonderful for editing. Starbeezing, the 5.5 hour live she did that she left up for a little while but has now been deleted, simultaneously with Nada's live that we will talk about in a little bit. So clearly they agreed to do that for each other, but we will discuss it later. There was another live after that called Making My Hairpiece Work. I'm not getting into that one, so we're going to ignore it. We then go into Cpap Rescue. There's another one, I Need This Starbeezing, and then Starbeezing with an exclamation point, which was the one I woke up to this morning, which thrilled me because I'd already spent hours editing yesterday and I'm actually only off for one day this week, so how dare she kick off right now? I do not have the time for this because I'm working tomorrow. So, awesome time. We got a lot to get through. This is going to be quite long. I have cut it down. I was going to do a straight react, so I've cut the 5.5 hour into 3 parts. I had basically the drive home, the counter diaries where she's sitting in the kitchen, and then everything after he went live. I will try in post to cut them down even more. If I do reference something that I cut out later, I apologize. I'll try not to, but because I was planning to do a straight react to it, it's a little bit longer. I think the clips I have for the condensed drive home are about 8 minutes, something like that. So I've got multiple. I don't cover everything in the live this morning. I've cut off everything after she needed to go to the bathroom because I don't need to expose you to that. So let's get started, shall we?
Sorry, you guys might put me in a good mood. Shay, read my message. I still wouldn't want anything bad to happen to her. Oh, thanks, Star Skater. Oh, that makes me so emotional. Oh. I'm just having a rough morning. You know what I want to do? I need to get off of here. I don't want to just cry all morning with you guys, you know? I want to go to the States. I'm allowed to go now. I have a passport, and I want to go to the McDonald's there. Not having a good morning. Let's just say that. And I'm not going to come on here and vent about you know what, because I said I wouldn't, and I'm going to do that to you guys anymore. So I'm not going to do that either. I just feel like, I don't know, I feel fucked up. Like, I feel like my life is just taking a wrong turn suddenly. I just can't feel fully happy. Like on a daily, you know? Oh my god! Oh my god! Did you guys see that cute older couple? I hope you did. There's like this couple that were like, they both look like twins almost. One was a guy, he had a hat and a walker, and his wife had the same hair. They both have the same color of hair, white, and they both look like they had the same level of osteoporosis, and they were like lovebirds. That's so sweet and romantic. Aww. I really hope someday that would be so nice. Sorry, I'm not doing it for pity. I'm really not. I just can't turn it off. I'm not gonna tell you what happened, but I don't want to ever go through with it. So just please. I'm not gonna be mad at my best friend for hating someone who it's not gonna happen. No, he didn't hit me. When he screamed at me. And I had to walk to the store. No, that's not gonna happen ever again. Just walking down the street, him following me, just can't even, like, no. Thank you. Yeah, I just feel like I'm old and I can't have kids, like, who, you know, like, who's gonna want to be with someone like that? It's not gonna change. I saw that today. If you have to trick somebody into letting you go, it got bad. That's all I want to say. And that's why I'm upset. These are smooth fuckers. Take it from someone who knows he will destroy you. I don't know why I've done nothing, but he makes me feel like I've done everything wrong, you know? So much safer and less stress being here right now. Somebody quit, I'm not begging you, do not go back to peaceful talk. If I could trust you or not, stay with it. It's like you guys see something I don't see. We have an engagement ring. I don't have nothing. I don't have my Cpap, nothing. Allie, I don't need your guys' pity or anything. I honestly didn't want to come on here and cry and like vent about things, but just can't. Like, Julie, you're scared of him. This isn't love. This is not just a normal. I have to like tell myself this is not just normal relationship, like cute fight relationship shit. This is like fucking dark. And Cannibal Beauty, you were gonna rehome BBJ for him. Grab your Cpap and leave. No, I'm not rehoming BBJ ever. I wish I had my Cpap. Pete was filling out the paper to bring Tim in. He called me and he was like mad that I was helping him. Oh, I get so fucking mad when I think about it. I get so mad when I fucking think about it. We're screaming and then fighting in the street because it's the only place I feel safe. By the way, not one fucking person offered to help me. I'm like bawling, screaming in the street. Man chasing after me. Maybe I talk about it because I'm like I can't go back. Yeah, I know deep down it's not right. Like, yeah, let's go home. Ah, things are good for like 2 effing days and then shit happens and then I'm made to feel like it's my effing fault. Like, I don't know who sent. I feel like somebody sent him that knowing it would set him off. Can you not do that when I'm there by myself? Well, it's too late now. I mean, I really just don't even feel safe. Like, I don't even want to like go in his house or even to get my shit. Like, I'll cut my losses and sleep on the recliner until I can get a new machine. I don't care anymore. I'm fucking mad. I hate myself so bad. I let somebody fucking scream in my face like that. No normal person gets so mad about somebody calling them a fucking asshole. It's me or Pete. Well, it's gonna be Pete's every time. I took my shit and I walked to the gas station, fighting at the fucking gas station, bawling my eyes out. Him not even like he even notices there's a world around us, fighting. I don't fight with men. I've had a lot of bad experiences growing up, and I fucking hate it. There's nothing I hate more. Nothing that scares me more. And BB are such the opposite. He's so quiet and calm and just not aggressive. And at the same time, I was sort of attracted to that. You know, manly man bullshit. Somebody who's not scared of another living human being. Someone who could beat the shit out of somebody with their hands. Why the fuck? Oh, because power, right? That's what's attractive about it. I can't keep doing this because I'll have a fucking heart attack. I'll have a heart attack. I'm not even kidding. I can't do crazy, sorry. Like, I don't know, there's something not right. Screwed on right? I don't know what the hell. There's something wrong. I feel stupid. I feel embarrassed. I feel sick to my stomach. Oh, and not knowing what's truth or lie now because I don't know. This answer to all this. Oh, so you love him? Go be with him then. Go be with him. What the fuck? He was in the chat? Where?
So Chantal starts by seeming like she's normal, even though she looks a bit irritated, but then quickly loses it. And though she begins the live by trying to pretend she's just having a general bad day, it very, very quickly becomes obviously about Nada. So that thing with the old couple, like, she's really been building her hopes and dreams on Nada, and we will see a bit more of that information coming up in later streams. But the talk about moving in together, like, she has been building castles in the sky with this dude, and she was really buying into it for a while, that it was going to happen, that this was the relationship they had. And there's a part of her that desperately wants that, desperately wants to be loved. And even though when she met him, when she pursued him, she was just looking for a very different kind of hookup, she needs the validation of, no, I'm in love with you brings. And this isn't the place to find it, but she thought she was there. It was really, really close. We'll talk about it a little bit more in the counter diaries. But he's not that kind of guy. She is very sensitive to screaming, even though, according to her, they've had some back and forth. But chasing her down the street, screaming at her, she's trying to get away. There's a whole thing there. And she's like, no, it's never going to happen again. But remember, it's happened before. So I can't believe, oh, it's never going to happen again. Now, I have the hindsight of the future streams. So yeah, we know it's going to happen again. But even in this moment, as a fresh viewer, of course it's going to happen again. Because it happened before and you didn't leave. Remember, she had the car accident because he was screaming at her in the car. And I think she really thought they were nearly at the point where it would be okay, where they would be together and he would have made a choice and they would have moved in together, and this could all be the thing about him that she changes. Because that stereotype of, I thought I could change him, is alive and well in her brain. Even if said out loud, it seems ridiculous. This quote of, it's like you guys see something I don't see. You're crying in your car saying you feel safer here because you're driving away from him and he's not here. You see it. She does see it. She sees it every time. She chooses to ignore it, and it's very much a choice that we see her making over and over again. And she identifies that later. She can identify her own behavior while not understanding or claiming to not understand why nothing is changing. It's utterly bizarre to me, but it is where we are. So when she's going like, you see something I don't, while describing what's happening, while describing her response, as we will get into in a bit. He has a lot of power over her mentally, and he does seem to be very good at manipulating her in a way that makes her doubt herself. When the evidence we have, the evidence, even only the evidence we've seen, seems very, very obvious what the truth is. And there's part of me that's like, no, this is a performance she's putting on for her audience, because you must be able to see through this. And with how she's able to articulate, and it's rare she can articulate, but with how she's able to actually state this is what he's doing, I have to believe it's a performance, because I can't believe she would go back knowing that. But there is a huge amount of power on his side of their relationship. He does know how to emotionally manipulate very, very well. And she's very susceptible. It's difficult to describe her as vulnerable because she's so unlikable. We think of vulnerability as something to be kind of pitied and protected, and we don't really want to apply that to Foodie, but she was wide open for this kind of manipulation. Because of all the elements that were going on in her life, she's wide open to believe this. And her self-image was in the toilet before she met him. And people who abuse in this way, they are able to identify that in other people. They're able to read it, and he works it to the hilt. He really does. And you see it really obviously in a lot of these pieces once they're all put together. We get introduced or reintroduced, because she did mention rings at one point earlier, to the engagement ring that she's got in this set of clips. And when she said it, I was like, wait, you have an engagement ring, or he gave you an engagement ring? Because those are both awful, but in separate and different ways. And turns out, no, he didn't offer her one. She bought one for herself, which is a whole thing we'll get into. But again, it's just things to kind of link her back. And with the Cpap, like, I wish I had my Cpap, I have nothing. Even now, in this moment, she is planning to go back. She has not cut herself off. She's saying, oh no, I'll buy a new Cpap, I'll do it, whatever. She is not planning to do that. She's still thinking about the things she wished she had. She's still going to go back and get them, as was later proven in the Cpap Rescue Live. But you could see the seeds of that even now at her lowest, as she's sobbing on the internet. They weren't done. Of course they weren't done. I talk so I can't go back. And that's what I'm talking about when I say, well, she identifies things and then ignores them. Because think of all the times they've broken up. Think of way back when she was driving through the dark with his laundry. There were so many instances that should have been a hard line. Should have been the point at which you go, nah, this is not it. And she hasn't taken them. And when she says, I'll never go through that screaming again, she escaped. We're calling this an escape. Because she said she couldn't go in a car, she had to go to the gas station, she had to come back, she had to do the things. Like, she did that when she was at the pharmacy with him. And she had him screaming at her then, she had him screaming at her in the car with the accident. She's been through these situations before. So to say, well, I'm never gonna do it again, you are doing it again. You're doing it again right now. So what makes you think you're gonna change your behavior in the future? This is the first time she brings up, of many times she's going to bring up, that if it comes down between a choice between Pete's and him, it's going to be Pete's. Of course it's going to be Pete's, because any logical person would say, no, it should be Pete's. You don't give up your best friend of however many years over a man, especially over this man, are you kidding? But remember, she was planning on leaving Pete's. They were going to move in together, and she was sweetening the deal by saying, okay, I'll pay for you to get set up somewhere else, so she didn't have to feel guilty about it. But she had already made the choice to leave old ball and chain over there. So this, how dare you, it would always be Pete's, has already been disproven. And interestingly as well, she's mentioning BB, and she mentions him multiple times over the course of these streams. And I really do think she's there going, grass is greener, and maybe leaving BB was a mistake. And I think the harsh reality of her current situation is making her remember the advantages of being with BB, because she wanted the drama, she wanted the power, she wanted the guy who would kick off in her name. But now the reality of it is harder to deal with, and BB never gave her this trouble. Finally, for this clip, I can't do crazy, sorry. Oh, the self-awareness and lack of same. Oh, I mean, one, mental health shaming if we're going to be trolly about it. But two, if we're going to use the word crazy, bitch, go look in a mirror. You can't do crazy. Because remember, in all of this, Chantal is not a peach. She's not a great person to be in a relationship with. I would say that neither of them are. I think neither of them should be in relationships with other people. They've both got a lot of work to do on themselves first. And I don't think abusers ever really change, so I don't think he's ever going to be at a point where he should be in a relationship with somebody. But she's got a lot of work to do internally on how she responds to situations, why she's so terrified of being lonely, and why she's not enough for herself. I think she's got a lot of work to do on that. And so this whole thing of them together is just, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. It's not good for either of them. But this implication that she can't do crazy, all the DV stuff, I 100% blame on him. Like, they are toxic for each other, but that's not a justification for the way he has behaved. But they're toxic for each other, absolutely. And there's been plenty of behavior that a layperson might describe as crazy on her side as well. And she admits as much later when he's reading through the text messages. Now, I hate to use that as an example because he's also a manipulative piece of shit, and I'm sure he makes things sound very reasonable when he's showing her things because she can't justify her own behavior a lot of the time. But, oh, there was a lot in that statement. There really was. Okay, so then Nada shows up in her chat briefly. She doesn't notice him straight away. People say he's in there and she's like, where? Now, initially I was like, are you really going to trust that it's him in chat? Because there's a lot of trolls out there. There are a lot of trolls out there that'll spoof an account. But he did then go live a bit later and it does appear to have been him. So, you know, they're all trying to get their story out because they're really angry at each other. So she goes upstairs and she settles at her kitchen counter. I'm calling this part the counter diaries. And then we're going to move on. There'll be another clip set when he actually goes live. So this is just her sitting, talking to her chat, and he pops back into chat. So let's get into that.
I've missed Timbit. I feel bad for Pete about Timbit. I don't love anybody. Are you kidding me? Is that really him? For real? See? Blame everything on... Did I scream in my own face this morning? Is that really him? No, because he's a member. So is that really him? That's nice. I think I'm gonna come back after. I seriously feel like I'm gonna have a fucking mental breakdown. For real. Yeah, you are responsible for my cycle problems, actually. You are responsible for everything I'm feeling right now. Yeah, I kissed your feet. You asked me to. Out of love for you. But it's not gonna happen again. Feet. Yeah, I don't want to, trust me. But I do it for somebody. If I love them and they want me to make them happy, I will. So sorry. You know what? I'm glad this happened a day before I was gonna get that fucking cabin. Miss Timbit doesn't want me to talk to Pete. Never talk to him again. That's what he said. I don't want to talk about him. I don't want to make him more mad, and I don't want to make things worse. So get a restraining order, get a police escort to get your shit. I could just go live and get my shit. I'm not getting my stuff. I'm leaving it all. This is so repetitive. KB, you turn against Pete because he told you to. Take responsibility. I love you, but this is... I didn't turn against Pete, ever. That's part of the reason we fight. She's leaving. It's because she wants a reason to go back. No, accountable beauty. I'm not going to get my shit. I don't want to go back there. I don't get it. Like, you fucked everything. For what? Because you're mad? At Pete's? I don't know why Brookie hates him. He's gonna get worse and worse. I see that now. You fucked it up. You fucked it up. We were gonna be happy and you fucked it up.
So I'm actually going to cut this into chunks because there were a lot of talking points in it, and I've just realised that the whole set of clips was about 13 minutes long. I'll see what I can cut out. Okay, it might be repetitive now that I'm not sleep deprived and I'm looking back at it. So the stuff about Timbit. Shut up. I miss Timbit. You left Pete the day Timbit died to go record Beat Dip, which did end up on Nada's channel. So shut up with the I miss Timbit. An actual more serious response to that would also be that any emotion is every emotion. I think I may have discussed this before, where, sorry, I'm waving my pencil around, it's the teacher in me. Any emotion is every emotion. If she's sad about one thing, everything she's sad about comes into that one thing. So she's sad about Nada, she's sad about Graham, she's sad about Timbit. And there's no barriers between any of it. And I do hate the comparison sometimes because it suggests that those things are equal. And I would not put Nada anywhere near any of the losses in her family. Frankly, I'd say good riddance. But yeah, so it irritates me when she brings it up, but it could actually be a complete inability to separate emotions, which is more likely. With Nada showing up in a chat though, because he's a member, one thing that does is completely take away any personal internet space she has without him. And the internet is supposed to be her outlet. For all he knew about her channel he was watching, he couldn't interact before, and now he's a member. And she does end up blocking him later, but the moment he came in and was like, you don't love anybody, she like just quivered and fell. She was like, I think I'm gonna come back later, because she couldn't handle him being there at all. And the reality of him responding to her meant that she suddenly didn't have this hug box safe space she was supposed to have. Now, you could argue that her chat hasn't been a hug box in a while. Sentiment really seems to be turning. But in this moment right here, she was getting some sympathy, and it just completely took it away from her. And then she goes on and is like, gives some details like the kissing his feet thing that we talked about before, which, no, absolutely not. The humiliation of that and the power he gets from it. The cycle problems though, one thing I would say, as much as she's upset and he does a lot, her cycling was an infamous part of her channel. It was never about Nada. Nada does make it more extreme in many ways. She applies the same cycles to her relationship with Nada as she does to many of the parts in her life, but it's 100% a feature of her own mentality, her own emotional state. She cycles through things, and we're seeing that applied here. So it's the one thing that she actually cannot blame him for at all. It's the first mention of the cabin. I will discuss it here because I think I cut out more of the details later. But when she mentions the cabin a couple of times, the cabin was like quite isolated. It was somewhere you'd have to drive to. She is the only one who drives, so he would be reliant on her for getting to and from places. So she was planning to look up this cabin to move in with him. She's planning to look the next day, and that seems like an awful situation. Get your abusive boyfriend, go some distance to him to a secluded cabin, and hope for the best. And what's the internet situation there? Are you going to be able to stream from there? So you're cutting off your own source of income, and you've got no help and no one who can get to you quickly. Why are you? That's like the beginning of an episode of serial killers. That is like, I'm painting the target on myself. Please come get me. That's the beginning of a horror movie, the person wearing the red jumper. That's not it. Don't do that. That seems a horrible idea. So I just had to mention that because, what a terrible thing to do. Don't do that. She tells us more about the ultimatum. It's not just he doesn't like her talking to Pete, he wants her to never see him again. And when she talks about getting her shit again, she's like, I could just go live and get my shit, so he couldn't do anything to her on live. That's a terrible idea. Chat says, go get the police to go get your stuff. She's not willing to do that because that would be permanent. If she did that, that would likely be an unbreakable line with her and Nada, because the police means official involvement. He's got a history, and it would be very difficult to walk back in a way that the other stuff we would assume would be difficult to walk back. There's no personal shame. And by personal shame, I mean, when it's just, I will look stupid, she goes ahead and does it. But when it comes to the police, there'd be official reports, and that couldn't just be erased from the internet. I'm never going to turn on Peach. You were already half with your back to him. I'm going to keep saying that because I think she'll still end up moving in with him even now. And you fucked everything. We were going to be happy. That very last time, we were going to be happy, and you fucked it all up. If you think you were going to be happy, then the delusion is strong with this one, because it means you haven't learned a single thing from everything that's happened. You can't go, she says, oh, it goes for 2 days and then, we fuck it up. That's because this relationship is untenable in the way that you are picturing it. You wouldn't be happy if none of this had happened. If you did ignore today, you wouldn't be happy. because it's not a good relationship. There's no happiness to be found in it. All right, let's go to some more of these clips. I'll see what I can cut out.
Over and over again. People change. That's the whole. I mean, I would like to believe that they do, because he doesn't think he did anything wrong. If you were serious, you would make a call to get a new Cpap. I just don't want to deal with anything right now. You fucked it up. You ruined it. You did. Not me. You. You couldn't control your fucking temper today. You blame it on me. You make me fucking hate you. You push me away. You. It's always been you. I talk about you online. All I do is say the shit you've done. Not a single thing I've said has been a lie. So if people hate you, it's because you make yourself look fucking bad. Go fuck someone else and give us another STD. I swear to God, I'm so fucking mad right now. Okay, I'm done. Because I don't want to fucking run my mouth anymore. Because Wanderlust, you're consistent with this cycle. You'll be back with him deleting the stream. Pretend nothing happened. No, I won't. I'm skeptical myself too, Punky. So I don't blame you guys for being skeptical. Only because I don't trust myself with my feelings. Nobody scream at me? Oh, fuck you. If that's really you, fuck you. If you're fucking... Really? All you care about is protecting yourself? Then you never loved me. Seriously. You are deranged. Nobody screamed at me? That's okay. Nobody's gonna believe you. Okay? So, and if they do, whatever. Yeah, you're right. I should block him. You're getting blocked, so fuck you. Seriously? Calling me a fucking liar? No. Because not only do you hurt me, but you fucking make it look like I'm crazy. When you know I'm not. I'm angry that I'm in this situation over and over. Like, I hate myself for that. Constantly gaslighting. All last night was him, like, giving me shit for being moody that morning. Remember when I wanted to go home? Well, I went home. I had supper with Pete. I ordered Pete's supper all night. I fucking paid for that. And then, still in a bad mood today, somebody sent him that fucking message, and so he played what Pete was saying while I'm there, and he's like, let's go, like, right now. Like, he was fucking livid. Can't defend it anymore. I can't. It's, like, not possible. Like, a real man, who cares about my feelings, would admit to being a piece of shit today. Yeah, are you engaged to Nat or no? No, I'm not. So, I saw a ring that I liked. Like a Disney Enchanted collection of, like, rings. And I saw one that I liked, and I want something different because I don't like just traditional. I paid for the ring, but he wanted to pay me for it, like, to give it to me. Like, I ordered it, and then he's gonna pay for it. So I got the Jafar ring because I like the ring, but it's at his house, so. Why didn't you wear the ring? Because we were gonna wait to move in together and then announce, like, we were gonna be, like, we had all these plans, and it's all a fucking lie. It's all a joke. Send the cops to get your stuff. I know, I don't know how I would get my stuff. Fucked up thing is I don't know how I'm gonna go on without him. I know now it's not something he even realizes in himself that he's like that. So there's no hope that I can change somebody like that. And I don't want to disrespect myself by letting somebody fucking treat me like that. I really wasn't going to talk about it. Like, but then I'm like, why not? It happened. Why? To make him look not bad? Or make him not mad? Like, he doesn't deserve that. At this point, sorry, you don't. Because I'm depressed. Call my therapist. Yeah, I have a session soon. Actually, I have to book one. I just keep thinking of, like, what BB would do. Like, he would never get mad at me for needing alone time. Like, never. I need alone time. I need to go home for now. It wouldn't be a big fight. I'm gonna actually drive you to beat up Pete's. Drop me off. Like, I just want to talk to him. You think I'm stupid? At the end, I was bored with BB, yeah. That's the thing. It was a bit boring. People that haven't even met you love you more than that clown. I don't know why he didn't love me. I don't feel like he loves me as a person. Didn't even realize either, you know, my new favorite song, Moth to a Flame? Doesn't that mean like staying with somebody even though you know it's not good? That's what I was telling Pete that that's my favorite song, and he's like, do you know what that means? He didn't read my super chat earlier, so here's again for $10. Stop doing this to your audience. If you know, you'll go back to him and treat us like we're crazy when you call. Thank you. No, I'm not going to. That's all I can say. I don't know. Of course he's watching. It doesn't look like I'm done with him. I'm tired. We're both wanting control, exactly. I don't trust him at all. Like, I don't trust him at all. What's the point of being with someone you don't trust? And I'm insecure, number one, yes. Because when I was with BB, you know, there's like one girl, and it's like, I would see like, oh, here's the messages, but then there's like a video call for 10 minutes. So what are you doing in the video call for 10 fucking minutes? You know she showed you her boobs. Like, so you what? I fucking hate you so much. Ugh. I feel like going on Tinder right now and fucking somebody and sending them the footage. That's how I feel like, what I feel like doing. No, I don't tell my supporters to F off if they don't like him. I always said, I know you guys don't. You don't have to. But I was defensive, yeah, I was. At some point. Okay, if he had calmly asked you to distance yourself from P, what do you have? Or was it the screaming that ended it for you? In my head, no. Of course, I'm like not going to end things with Pete's, obviously. Because I don't feel like I have to. I don't see the fucking reason. Like, just because he doesn't like Pete's. Like, because Pete doesn't like him. What I blocked people for was, like, coming in here constantly and just, like, being really nasty to me about it, you know? I never blocked anybody for, like, saying they hate him. Like, that would be stupid for me to, like, talk to you guys, make you hate him, and then block you for it. So if I did that, sorry, obviously that's very stupid.
The part when it gets to the lying is so interesting to me because she's sitting there and she's crying again, but it's very much an anger cry. You make me look fucking crazy, but I'm not. And it's frustration, and you can see her face going because the fact is she is a liar. She's famous for being a liar. She's a lying liar who lies. I don't think she's lying about the abuse. I don't think that. But she does lie. And she knows that and he knows that, because fundamentally a lot of this live stream for both of them was trying to get their story out, trying to be the last narrative standing. And if you have looked, she's deleted this live now and Nada deleted it at the same time. So clearly they've agreed to do that, because I think the reason both these stayed up as long as they did is because if the video gets deleted, whichever one is left becomes real. It's like history. People write it and then later people believe it. So if you're the victor, you write the history. If any of them takes the stream down, whatever is left becomes the narrative. So they had to agree to take it down together. Otherwise, both of them would have had to leave it up. That being said, they're definitely not back together, guys. How dare you? Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. It's not that funny, but really. But she's a liar. She only really seemed to be able to very, very clearly talk through, no, it was you, it was you, it was you, and be the most accusative while her face was covered by a cat. I think that was on purpose. I think it made her braver because she didn't have to be seen. But they're both toxic. It doesn't excuse anything he's doing to her. They are both toxic. They both have their problems. They both have done things in this relationship. Does it mean she deserves what he gave her? No, it doesn't. Does it mean she's perfect and beyond reproach? No, it doesn't. I just want to talk a little bit about how she's saying she paid for that the whole night and someone sent the clip of Pete's, because it's a thread I think I forgot to pick up in the last set of clips where she was saying, oh, could you not send that stuff while I'm there. And I really just wanted to say it's not up to her audience or her chat or anybody online to keep her safe in places that she is putting herself where she doesn't feel safe. Because if you don't feel safe, you shouldn't be there. Now, I don't endorse people sending that crap to him. I think just leave them both alone. Don't be in contact with them. Are you kidding? But at the same time, it's not the audience's responsibility. Paperclip should not be a thing, you know? And to say, well, could you not do that while I'm there? Could you not go to places where you know it's going to be unsafe for you? Knowing your audience, knowing the shit you put out online that's going to anger him, knowing that Pete hates him and is equally comfortable saying that shit. If it's not going to be safe for you and you know it, stop going. And if you're not going to stop going, you accept that there are dangers. So it may sound unsympathetic, but it was really a point I meant to say in the last one and I wanted to pick up here. I hadn't realised, but I did keep some of the talk about the ring in here. I thought it was in the next one that I cut. Yeah, she bought her own engagement ring. Without his agreement initially, like she bought it because she liked it, supposedly, but he was then going to pay her back and give it to her because this was apparently a conversation they'd had in Toronto, which is why she was so happy in Toronto. But remember, she was going to return from Toronto early, which is now magically scrubbed from the history. So even then, even that moment when they're supposed to be super happy and kind of making these future plans together, something went wrong there. But she's left it at his house, so, you know, it doesn't matter anymore. But she bought it because she liked it, but it was going to be an engagement ring and they had all these plans. And I can't believe she's buying into it, but we're very different people in some ways. So in terms of how we view ourselves, our own worth and others, we're very similar in some ways and we're very different in others. And this is something I'm just like, absolutely not. But I guess that's where she is. And she, whether it's bullshit or not, after a while she believes it and it becomes her new reality. So they were in love, they were almost engaged, they were going to announce it, they were going to move in together. It was going to be the perfect, not quite suburban, but the perfect life, which is so odd to me because she's been so emphatically against the idea of normality for so long, but she really, really wanted the picket fence because that life proves that he loves her, proves that she's worth something. That conversation she had in the car when she was like, I'm old and who's gonna want it? If you heard an echo, it was Nada's voice telling her that. So all of these supposed plans they had, it was proof that that wasn't true and that she could get someone and she was worth it. And that's really what he's taking away from her in these moments. And that's why it hurts her so much in these moments. When she says he doesn't think he did anything wrong, to an extent, I don't think he thinks she matters enough to term it wrong. Like there's no right and wrong if there's no feeling at all, which is I think where she is. But also she's got a history of like blowing up and coming crawling back. So he doesn't have to admit to anything. All he has to do is deny everything and wait. And her own mind does a lot of the work for him. He just has to poke a little bit and she comes crawling back to him. And it's a horrible thing to see, but she does. So all he has to do is wait. And this conversation that comes up about, you know, stop doing this to your audience. If you won't stop doing it to yourself, at the very least, stop doing it to your audience. Wow, the way she remembers things is interesting because she's like, she then goes and says, oh, well, I don't block people for hating him, but if I did that, sorry. So you do block people for hating him. You can see her reworking the history as she goes because she's not a great liar and she tends to contradict herself. So, oh, I need to stop doing this. The question of go call your therapist, and this is an ongoing thing that I won't let go of, where she was like, I have an appointment, no, I have to make one actually. So important because she mentions the therapist a few times and the chat mentions it as well because the chat are not here for this. She goes, oh, okay, she doesn't have an appointment right now. All right, that's the takeaway from that. She was supposed to have them like weekly. She had to make the appointment. She hasn't made it yet. She doesn't have one. So all the other times she mentions the therapist, keep that in mind. Also keep in mind that she started smoking during this. She said it's CBD, it's got very little THC, and then she's like, well, 22%. I know very little about joints, but that seems like a lot. All right, and she does go driving A few hours after this, she opens her live by saying, okay, I've been. So she was under the influence driving. She had to have been. She had to have been. There's no way she could have come back in the time frame and not have been under the influence. And I'm pretty sure she did say that they shared a joint there as well, though I'm pretty sure it's not in the cuts. So just a thing to talk about, okay? So all this stuff of, oh, I don't do that, she does do that. Oh, I don't block, she does do that. Oh no, I've got a therapist appointment, she hasn't got one. But she doesn't lie. She definitely doesn't lie. It's her current truth. She hates him here in this moment right now. It's her current truth. And if it's only her current truth, you can't really expect her to live by it, can you? One last interesting thing was if he had, if he had approached you calmly and said, don't talk to Pete instead of shouting, which is what her emotions were, nah, past trauma and all of that. And she was like, in my head, no. And that implies, but in practice, yes. Because he can convince her of anything. She's not got any boundaries with him at all. She's very prone to following, not his suggestions, that seems a weird way to say it. She's very influenceable and he holds a lot of sway over her. So if he had approached her slightly calmer, yeah, I mean, she was already half out the door. I bet he could convince her to do that. I bet he could. The question is, will he? Because I still think they're going to move in together and we'll see. All right, let's move on now to the he is live. If I've missed any points in there, sorry guys, it's a lot. So we're moving on to he is live. She was still at her counter. She blocked him from the chat, so he turned on his camera and starts talking shit about her over on his channel, and she decides to go in and start listening. Like, that's not going to be a whole mess. So let's look into that.
What? He said I was high on coke. You have to be fucking joking. Wow. Wow. So it's gonna be that way, huh? That dirty bastard. I hope he publishes my sex tape so I can put him in jail. I do coke? Oh, he doesn't want to go there. He doesn't want to go there. Oh, that's nice. I didn't do any coke since July 8th. At all. I'm not mad at him about that because I know it's not true. It's the fact that he's fucking lying like that. Like blatant lie and not owning any ownership for what he's done. Anything. Shannon is going on with her. I do coke and saw things. Like, that's what his excuse was for hitting me that time. Oh, I was on coke. Or we were on coke, you were probably seeing things. He's so disgusting. That actually hurts me the most, that he's fucking lying and like the way he's lying. Because that makes me feel like it confirms he cares more about his image than he does about me. I asked him to get drugs. Okay. Whatever. I think everyone knows he's full of shit. Oh shit. He just said that he's the one stopping you from doing drugs. He's so full of shit. Oh my god. I'll cancel his phone now. Stop being a pushover. The live stream would go. No, he has his own phone since the last time. He has his own plan. For real, I'm not joking. I don't even have the new phone number because it's private. There was a point where he I was at the store and I'm like, I want to go home. He's like, just come back to the car. I'll let you go. I'm like, I swear to God, if I walk back to my car, you're not coming with me. So you stay away from my car. You go in the house. There's a part where I could see him. I didn't think I could see him. He's peeking around the wall looking like this, like waiting for me to get close to my car so he can go in the car. Anyway, he said, I do have mental problems and they're worse because of him. This better not be a herpy, that's all I gotta say.
Chantal, I'm not gonna talk bad about you again. I just reaction for what you did.
Reaction for what I did. Literally, I want to throw up. Or kick his fucking ass myself. I really hate him. Right now in this moment. I don't think his channel will tank. I gave him a platform. I just was like, I don't know. I'm like, you expect me to just drop a 20-year friendship for somebody I've known for 5 months? Yeah, I'm your boyfriend. If he broke up with me, why am I here? Like, why did I escape him again? I don't want to go back. Are you kidding me? What? I discussed him? Wow. I sent his family money? No. I was mad because I couldn't. I said I couldn't because I'm like, well, never mind. It's no one's business. But I pay a lot of shit. Let's just put it that way. I'm supporting a lot of people in my life right now. Yeah, he was mad that I paid for, like, the cat to be put down or whatever. And I didn't yet help him with his mom or her family. He did say, he's like, are you going to propose to me and kiss my feet? No. About him. I'm not going to lower myself. He said that I insisted on living with Pete. I never did. I was planning on moving in with him. I don't know why he's mad now, Cinnamon Girl. He just, like, since yesterday. I kept saying, I want to go to your house. I never let him here, if you haven't noticed. That's how he was all day and last night. No, it's not true that I'm doing coke. He's lied about, like, everything. I'm, like, actually surprised he would lie like that. Like, just flat out. Of me cussing and hitting him. I need to Google narcissist. You left him, James, I grieved him alone. That message is directed at me. I will renew my lease, meaning telling me, okay, it's over. We're not moving in together. You don't understand why. He doesn't get it. He thinks I did some. He literally thinks I did something to him today. How can I? There's no going back. He doesn't get it. Like, he doesn't understand.
Don't lie me.
I left my phone stand there too. I want all my shit. I want my.
Yes, you did.
I'm not going back.
Being
part of me wants. Very small part of me wants to. We were supposed to look at a log cabin, and that's what makes me sad. You know? Like, I can tell myself, just ignore anything that happened today. And you can be happy. But it's all a lie until it next happens. And then I'm just gonna be left with nothing. I just know it.
There was a lot in that. The drug talk. I don't do coke, and he doesn't want to go there. Now remember that she said they stopped doing drugs together. I feel like at some point she walked that back as she doesn't know what he does when she's not there, but she did, like, the main storyline was, the current truth was that they were getting clean together and they knew it was bad for each other. And yet she's like, oh, you don't want to go there. You're like, well, ratting him out's going to disprove things you were saying, but, you know, you're the one saying you're not a liar and that he is, so that doesn't help your case. Also, she's always really careful to say coke, not drugs. And she doesn't consider THC and the legal stuff as drugs. So when I say drugs, I mean more illicit things. But she always very carefully says coke and not other drugs. And that thing on her lip, I'm telling you it was a burn. I'm telling you it was not a cut. So I think it's one of those admission of truths sort of things, rather than, okay, but I wasn't lying because I said coke. I didn't say other things. And I believe Smokey Steve and Mark, particularly Mark, because he works in, well, Smokey Steve has experience and Mark works in the field, and they both are very knowledgeable and they don't believe it, and that seems convincing to me. And I put more store in their truths than I do in hers. So, again, you see her getting upset because she's angry a lot. I'd forgotten about her sex tape, guys. Oh, I hate that he has that. You know, I'll get him arrested. Chances she'd go through with any of that if he did actually release it anywhere. She absolutely should, but chances are, nah. I mean, she won't leave him. She won't stand against. She's got the spine of a wet paper bag when it comes to anything he does. So the chances of her retaliating in any way seem very, very low. And probably if anything happened, he would then be like, well, you did OnlyFans. You were going to go put it out, which I think she brought up because she knew it existed. But I'd forgotten, and it was a horrible reminder. So that's also a thing. I've got so many notes here. I'm like, which part did this come from? Talking about this better not be a herpy. You were going to get tested. You remember when you were going to get tested? I would advise still doing that. That would be a thing. Because, hey, he lies too. In that sense, you're perfect for each other because you both lie a lot. And I wouldn't trust his version of events at all, particularly as they seem to directly contradict some of the information you gave us before you were confused about it. I don't know why she's surprised that he lies to save his own self-image. Well, of course he does. Come on now. Oh, guys, I don't have the number to his phone. He's got his own phone and it's private? What? Like, that stuck out to me so much. Bear in mind, when they were happy together a couple of lives ago, he was sitting there scrolling through her phone, getting her messages for her. You remember that? She's not allowed his phone number, and somehow that's okay. Now, granted, she does dox everybody. That's not okay. That's not okay. I have a private phone that I will show you messages from, receiving texts from other women. I will, do my own things with, but you are not allowed to have it, and I assume not allowed to see it. Doesn't seem trustworthy at all. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't tolerate that at all. Sorry, that's the sound I make when I'm thinking. Rolling my tongue. Do you expect me to drop a 20-year friendship? Again, you were doing it. You were on your way to doing it. And that idea of, oh, you think you're going to propose and kiss my feet like it's a joke? No, I'm not going to do that. You already did that. You did that without the proposal. That's on the line. Like, I could see him making her do it again just to prove he could. I could see him making her crawl just to prove he could, because he enjoyed seeing it, because he enjoyed the power. He's done it once, and I can't imagine with her going back, he would make it any easier on her, and that's sort of awful. Well, more than sort of. I'm a little bit confused. She said, oh, I never let him in here, unless you didn't notice. As if she was proving a point. She did live streams with him from her room. He was cleaning and talking really loud on the phone and generally being disrespectful. Do you remember? I remember. The internet remembers. Pepperidge Farm remembers. You don't remember. It's different. There's a lot of things that come up that apparently she doesn't remember, that she really, really should. And we will get into that later. I feel like I'm missing a page of my notes, so if I've missed something there, I apologize. But yeah, it was a lot. So there was another stream that I didn't watch that I'm not going to get into. Apparently there was nothing in it, making my hairpiece work, something like that. And we come into Cpap Rescue. And when she opens this live, she has already been to his house. And I'm just like, oh no. And again, driving high, all the things through the night. But anyway. So let's get into this.
I already got my stuff. I know you're gonna laugh at me and hate on me because I'm sad. I fell down the stairs. My foot is all sprained. That was like a sign, like maybe I shouldn't go. So I went. He was very cold. Well, me too, I guess. And I just packed my shit. I dropped him off on the way at one of his friends. Why should I be jealous? Like, oh yeah, you're really going to your friends, you're going to hook up. So he called his friend right on the phone with me to shut me up. When I was driving home, I just felt like empty. I didn't want to be alone. So I pulled over in a moment of weakness, and I was like, I don't want to be alone. But then I said, I'm just gonna go home. And he's busy with his friend anyway too. But I should have never done that. Now I look weak, and he knows I feel that way. This other guy that I've been talking to, the one who messaged me, he's all buff now, and he's like, I would accept I'm bigger, that guy. But I just don't care. Like, he wants to hang out Friday, and I just don't care. If I think that Natter never loved me, it's like I can't believe that, you know? I like literally just dropped him off. So he's gonna have a drink with his guy friend, and then I called him and I was like, I don't want to be alone. And he was like, okay. So, well, I call you soon. I'm just watching a program with my friend, and I'll let you know. I said, I'm just gonna go home. It's just gonna be a lot harder than I thought. It's so hard to break up with somebody when you love them, even if you hurt me. I want this to be the rest of my life. No, I don't. And I know I don't. But I'm a freaking psycho when it comes to him. Like, I don't know what kind of hold he has on me. Like, I don't get it. You're gonna grieve this relationship and everything will be okay. I'm tired of grieving. My grandma, Timbit, Natter, like, it's just so much. My next therapy, I think, is sometime this week. I gotta check. No, I'm not picking him up. I don't feel like going to a bad part of town at fucking 3 in the morning again. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Maybe I just want validation. Like, that's all it is. I don't know. Like, part of me wanted him to beg me to stay. And you know what? BB has not, like, had sex with a single person since being with me. I swear. And I can't, and this guy loves sex. Like, Natter loves sex. Wait, like, he's just really, like, I don't know.
I've chosen to cut off those clips before she goes into the house for the Cpap rescue, because I feel most of the talking points that come up later, she talks a bit more about the ring, she shows it off. Most of those talking points are covered elsewhere, so just save yourself some time. Hate on me because I'm sad. No, hate on me because I feel like you're being really fucking stupid. You're endangering yourself. You're forcing us to go through this emotional burden with you when you know damn well it's a terrible idea and that you know damn well you're going back even though you're currently lying to us. That's why I'm hating on this. There's a lot of reasons. He was very cold. That doesn't surprise me. But, oh, she dropped him off at a friend's house. For why? Why? What thought process went through your head that that was the choice you came to? For why? My God, even if he's not hooking up, like, oh, he called his friend to prove it, why would you take him anywhere? Now, in this moment, you have shown up, hi, granted, but shown up at his place to collect your stuff because you're ostentatiously breaking up with him and you're gonna give him a lift? Oh, way to stay strong. Why would he? There's a reason he doesn't respect you. Part of those are deep-seated psychological issues of his in the sense of I don't believe he respects any woman, but you're not helping your case here. Are you kidding me with this? Oh, you can smell the desperation. And then to be like, I was a bit confused. I thought she had pulled off to the side of the road with him in the car. It sounded like, and then she clarified. So she dropped him off. She leaves him to his friend. She starts driving home and then she calls him to say, I don't want to be alone. So at that point, she's hoping that she's going to be able to go pick him up, I guess, and that they can spend some time together. And again, when I say that he doesn't need to do much, like he can just poke and then she falls down, this is a great example. There was no benefit, because taking any emotion out of this, because I don't believe he feels a damn thing, in terms of re-establishing control, he didn't need to do anything but say, I'll think about it, I'll contact you later. Literally, go hold your breath and wait for me. I'm with my friend now. Clearly, this is more important than your nonsense. I'm with my friend. I'll let you know. And that was a power move on his part, and she bought it hook, line, and sinker. And she said, okay, well, I'm not going back. I shouldn't have done it because now he knows I'm weak. He already knew, but yeah, that did confirm it. And I can't believe he never loved me. Well, of course he never loved you. He still doesn't. Do you see how he's reacting? But yeah, of course he left her waiting. Why wouldn't he? When she goes back in the house, she says, I couldn't bear to look at my own face the way it was looking. And so she put some makeup on. She put makeup on because she was fully expecting, despite the fact that she was like, I'm not going back and picking him up. She was fully expecting him to call and that maybe she would see him, whether she went and picked him up, which is what would have happened, or if she paid for a cab to bring him wherever, or she went to his, or whatever happened. Like, that is what she was expecting, and that's why she was in makeup. It's hard to break up when you love the person. Remember why she's breaking up with him. She's breaking up with him. She had to escape. So saying, I love him. Look at the behavior. Look at it. And that's the problem. She filters her own history. So she remembers the things she's comfortable remembering after the rage is done. So to her now, the narrative has changed. This isn't, I had to escape an abusive relationship. This is, we're breaking up for some kind of nebulous reason and I'm heartbroken. And that's all that exists now, not all the other stuff. That's all that exists. Again, mentioned therapy visit. When's your next therapy visit? Next week sometime. I have to check. No, you haven't made a therapy visit. Again, what happens and what is intended to happen tends to combine in her head. She intends theoretically to make an appointment that she's not currently made. So maybe just shut up about that, right? And then we have the next day. I think it's the next day. I need this Starbeezing. Oh, I'm gonna need to check my notes. All of them had so many Starbeezing in the titles. I need this Starbeezing. So we are gonna take a look at that.
Came down to hang out with me, like after I got off live, I went on the couch. I was like greening out a bit. So he came downstairs and I was like trying so hard to stay awake. I was like, but I kept like passing out. So he must have left at some point, I don't know. I was like too like tired to even hook up my machine. Just small talk and stuff. Like we're not back together or anything like that. Because it's hard to just cut it off completely. I didn't hear from him in like hours. And he was at his friend's. Where is he? What's he doing? Like a crazy person, you know? That's it. And I have to like fight with myself to be like, don't. Who cares? Like this is how you have to live now. You have to live like you don't care what he's doing. Just message him or call him and ask what he's doing. Because you're not together anymore. You guys think I treat you bad and I don't. You friggin' beezers. Whatever. I've had this gift card for, you know what? I'm going to eat this today. Since I don't have a chef anymore. We have to go back to being reliant on ourselves. All the hate videos. Why am I getting hate now? Because I'm a stupid woman and friggin' in love with the wrong guy. No, why do you guys, first thing you asked me. I don't blame you because you spent all day with me crying yesterday. No, it's just hard being like lonely. Not really any new developments. Thanks, Monique. No, I'm not on my way home from Matters. The cabin tour? No. I don't think he ever really apologizes. Actually. I usually do. Because he makes me feel like I do something bad. I feel like just being alone for a while, I think, guys. I really do. I feel like a zombie. Like, I just feel so, like, numb. I don't feel like talking right now. One of the whole reasons I went to Toronto was for content for you guys. And all it turned out to be about was me and him. But I did film a lot of content, so that's what I'm saying. Like, probably you guys probably don't even want to see them anyway. Dollar store haul? House hunting. Yeah, right. I have to get back into a healthy place. Like, health-wise, financially, everything. Like, just, I need to, like, save more money. This year, 37, I feel like has been a year where I'm just really, so far, have just been learning to adult in certain things. I don't know if I want to piss him off. I feel like I'm on the verge of crying again. I don't want another crying day. So I know you guys will distract me, but I think I'm just gonna go on the long road and just take even a few moments to myself.
So into this this live, her attitude starts a lot more upbeat. After doing the whole thing of going back to get her stuff, she didn't even hook up her machine before she fell asleep. Because she was greened out, and then she went upstairs, she fell asleep on a llama, she just didn't hook it up. So that was worthwhile. I still firmly believe that it was just an excuse to go back and see him. She did want him to beg her to stay, and he can't do that if she doesn't give him opportunity, and he's never going to do that anyway, but there we go. She does establish that her and Nada are talking again. So after all that, no, they're speaking again, just small talk. You know this thing where she says, I'm going to starve you bitches on channel? That's very much what he's doing to her right now. And it's an effective tool if you use it correctly. She doesn't because she can't resist, but he does. So when she's just going, oh, and I can't just ask him because we're not together anymore, but I want to know what he's doing. He just feeds that obsession by giving her nothing. Like, just let her do it to herself. It's a technique. And she falls for it. She falls for it every time. And she says herself, it's hard being lonely. Maybe try actually booking that therapy appointment, because it's such a huge part of her psychology. This desperation and fear of loneliness. It all ties in together. And it is, I know it's easy to scream, therapy, bitch, but it's so important that she learn to exist within herself. She can't fix anything else, or even not fix, but work on anything else unless she can exist that way, because everything else is connected to it. She does say she apologizes for everything. I bet she does. He leaves her for a day or two. She gets lonely. She apologizes because she just wants to be back at any costs. And so there's no reason for her to, or sorry, there's no reason for him to expect anything different this time. So why would he panic? He's got her tied up. That is it. And it's not going to be any different this time. And he's got no reason to think so. So why would he change his behavior? You reinforce his behavior every time you go back. She does say, then I feel like being alone. You're like, no, you're terrified of being alone. That's why you turned on the camera when you knew it was going to be difficult conversations all around. You don't feel like being accountable. You thought you could manage it. You needed the positivity in your chat, which there is less and less of these days. And it's not working. So you're just like, oh, I don't feel like talking. Get off live then. You can't switch off your feelings. You can switch off your phone. Stop. Just stop and don't show us these things, because you're putting the burden on your audience. And this goes back into the talk she has about her, about the stuff she filmed in Toronto. Chat's like, we don't want it. And she goes, well, you know, this footage that I filmed there, it ended up all being about us, but maybe I can do something and just not show him. No, but we would know he was there, and that would spoil it. I can barely watch her pre-recorded content anymore, and I wanted her pre-recorded content back. But because she works so hard to present the lie in the content, and she plays it simultaneously to her lives, I can't enjoy the pre-recorded content because I know how the sausage is made. I know all the background stuff, and I don't want it. And if she wants to be successful again with her pre-recorded content, then she's going to have to completely nix the lives, because the two narratives are so different, they can't exist together. And she can't do that, or she won't do that, I should say. So, I mean, that's where we are with it. There is a little bit more talk about 37 is the year I learned to adult. How? I'm sorry to laugh, but how? In what area of your life? Love, you're dating Nada. You've gone back to him 73 times despite all of this. Job, your YouTube channel is turning, and if you don't maintain that, you're fucked. All right? So job, not currently that successful. Yes, you earn money from it, but as a sustainable thing that's enriching your life in non-monetary ways, that you're satisfied with, that you're growing with, no, your work ain't it. Personal relationships, you're about to turn on Pete for this guy, and your family doesn't seem to be talking to you very much. In what area of you haven't paid your taxes? So in every area I can think of that would involve adulting, I would say you're not progressing the way you would perhaps like to. So it's nice to say, oh, I should get better at this, Like, she talks about money and wanting to save. I think her finances are in a bad position. I'll talk about it a bit more in a minute. But I think her finances are a lot worse than she's admitting. But yeah, I would not call this the year you learn to adult. I'd call this the year you learn to avoid adulting. Finally, she said she wants to drive the long road, but she said she wasn't coming back from Nada's, that she was just near her house. That long road connects her and Nada. So if she's driving the long road and she's not coming from him, then she's going to him. But they are connected. And so driving the long road without her chat, and she'll definitely come back live later, and then didn't, let me think. Guys, we've made it. We've made it to the last clip set. Oh God. I apologize for everything. We have made it to Starbeezing with an exclamation point. This was done later. I get confused with the days and the nights with her. She says it's early evening because it's getting dark quite quickly. I get very confused with timelines. But let's just get into it and see if we can survive this.
Are we planning a wedding or hiding a body? Can we just not talk right now? I don't even know what to say anymore when I come on here. I'm going to look at the cabin. The cabin was supposed to happen today. Didn't happen. I feel like my therapist should get the brunt of what I want to talk about on here. So I think I'm just going to leave it at that for now. Where are your hug box? I know, I need a hug box. Actually, like, that's... A lot of people say that's not healthy, but even my therapist thinks that because it's a more positive environment. You know, like I joked about, like, people saying it's all enablers, and because she wants to know, like, my relationship with my audience. We're going to get back to that, but it does have an impact on my mental health, of course. But she said it is good that YouTube doesn't feel like a job. But she said she wants me to remember that it is still a job, even though people don't see it that way. Act a fool. Crazy. Crazy for feeling. I'm being honest, we're not back together. We don't want blog. Why? I wish you knew the chaos in my head. Just be honest with us about what is going on. He's probably told her to shut it because he doesn't want to look like a bum after swearing on his mother's life. Pretty much. Do I love myself? Not enough. Love addiction? Might as well be. No. I think it's an attention addiction. I might wear the ring though. I feel stuck. Like, I can't say things that I want to say. Like, I don't know how to say things I want to say. No, not really. Like, that's not what happened. Like, I feel like I'm always, like, I have to make a decision always, like, between life with him and my life now. Like, I feel stuck for my love by him. Like, I know we probably shouldn't be together, but I feel stuck by my love for him. But there's things I hate. Like, hate. Who's lying? Did you do cola that day or not? If he was lying, he was doing it to make himself look better. How can you forgive that, Kay? He said he never said that. But where was it, in the live stream? I don't know. I haven't watched his live yet. No, I haven't done anything. Have fun walking to the store getting screamed at for the rest of your life. We're not back together, but I go through wanting to be with him to realizing it's toxic. So that's when I come online when I'm angry and I talk about him. You know what I mean? I'm in a very, very, very tough place. Like, he wants me to have nothing to do with Pete's. Like, nothing, nothing, nothing. It's like, I know some things, like, he does are not normal or are not good. But I don't want to talk about them. Raining. It's like you're his dog. You're on leash 24/7. Bell Pepper, you're not in a tough spot. Choose him, lose Pete's in your channel, and start hitting the pavement. Drop him and possibly save the channel. Sofa King, am I happy? No. Big love. Never asked to marry you. Never asked to move in. No. I always open the wrong side of this friggin' wallet. I need to, like, remember the side with my cards. Why are there so many pockets in here? How much money do they think people have? Give me a break. I swear to God, people are more broke than they... People don't admit when they're broke, but a lot of people are broke. I know. I know I look crazy, like, saying all those things. And then going back. I get it. Do you guys like my live streams? Like, if I stopped doing lives, would you miss me? Or would you be okay with recorded content? You wouldn't watch anymore?
So are we planning a wedding? I don't think we know for sure yet, because I could still see her doing it even after all this. I do firmly believe they're back together again. The simultaneous deletion of live stream does rather speak to it, as does her whole kind of demeanor and behavior for this whole live, to be completely honest. She does say, well, I might wear the ring just because I like it, because I bought it. So keep an eye out for it, because I think maybe she won't tell everybody right away that she's engaged if they do choose to go that route. I think she'll just try and soften everything by wearing it for a bit and being like, no, I'm just wearing it, and lead things in that way. Oh, my thing is showing. Sorry. Her therapist says the hug box is good. Here's the thing with her now somewhat seeing a therapist. You've only been there for a couple of times, but anything she wants the chat to accept without question, she's going to say what my therapist says. No, the therapist that you guys told me I really needed to see, my therapist said. Despite the fact she's only seen that therapist for 2 sessions, I think it is, and there's no way they could get too deep into anything in that kind of time frame. She says, oh, my therapist wants to go back to talking about my audience, because apparently she reminded her that YouTube is a job. I would hope that the idea of reminding her of that was to then perhaps later discuss the fact that it therefore shouldn't be the be-all end-all of your life and shouldn't replace all the other relationships that you could be forming in your life. You shouldn't live your life for YouTube. That would be a lovely conversation to have and would be very useful. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure she's ever going back to this therapist, to be completely honest. She says she loves her, but she still hasn't made that appointment, despite the fact that she keeps pretending like she's already got one. And despite the fact that she keeps falling back on the therapist to justify anything she wants to tell anybody. So also, it's not really a hug box anymore. It's been turning. And she doesn't know what to do about that, because she can't give up anything she would need to give up for that not to be the case. She starts singing Crazy for Feeling, and then stops herself. That's because she doesn't want to act so lonely. Her songs always tell us what she's really thinking. I know that's not news to anyone, but the songs she sings are always relevant to her real feelings. And I would go with that one, to be completely honest. There's a lot going on. Someone said, oh, he told her to shut it so she can't speak. And she goes, yeah, basically, and I could believe it, but the stream has been deleted. So clearly they've come to some sort of agreement, which should be of concern, because he still wants her to break everything off with Pete's. And if they're now deleting lives and they're finding some way to coexist together, at least temporarily, obviously to me at least, I'm assuming to you, she's still got plans to move forward. Do you remember earlier she was saying you can just ignore what happened today and you can be happy? That's what's at work here. And if that ignoring, if one of the conditions of her crawling back to him, and I do believe there must be conditions there, are that she can't talk to Pete at all, I think she'll give Pete up. She won't walk away. She went crawling back. She called him from their breakup talk to be like, I don't want to be alone. He knows exactly how much power he's got. And we'll see how long it takes to them to get to the point where she's not talking to her anymore. Because I think the condition of her coming back is going to be that he eventually has to be out of her life. And for all she's been saying, I would never abandon Pete, if she can justify in her head that she's not abandoning him, I think we'll see a life where she's not in contact with him, but in her head that's going to be different because she's very strong on the technicalities, and we get that a lot with, I've been off cocaine, maybe not drugs, but we're not going to talk about that. I haven't abandoned him. I set him up somewhere and he's happy, but I'm not talking to him, but it's different. I was super confused. When we talk about gaslighting, he is gaslighting her so hard, I'm like secondhand gaslit by this. Cocaine. He never said that. I haven't watched his live yet. She literally watched his live on Live with Us. She heard him say. He said, actually no, a person told her that he said, but she took cocaine. She went onto his live to watch it. She may not have watched the whole thing, but she saw some of his live. Maybe she was too high to remember it the next day, I don't know. But when I talk about rewriting history, she saw some of his live, she disagreed with it, and she's saying that she never watched it. Just like when she said, oh, I don't let him back in the apartment. We have video footage of him doing so. And I'm sitting there like, am I having a stroke? Did this actually not happen? But she's literally out here going, oh, I never watched his live. What? You did it with us? What? Like, I don't know. Is it me? Is it actually me? And this is her whole relationship with him. Things that are so crazy obvious. And then she's like, wait, did that not happen? That kind of happened if you're so adamant it didn't happen. And this is what he does to her, but she goes with it a lot further. We have the evidence of the internet, my dear. We know what happened. This whole thing of I'm in a tough place right now, what her chat said back to her, which is no, you're not. This isn't a tough decision, get rid of him, is absolutely true, and she didn't answer it. And that's really how this live ended, with a lot of, well, not ended, where I cut it off, with a lot of long pauses where she isn't answering some of the very true things that her chat is saying to her, because she's got no answer for it, because she knows they're true and she can't defend it, and yet she also knows that she's back with him. So there we go. The only other thing of note before I cut it off was her talking about finances. Why are there so many pockets? So many people are broke. It's so normal, you know? And if you notice from her history in general, her main defense of any behavior she has personally is that everybody does it. And it's interesting to see that move into the financial area now. Everybody is broke. Who are you kidding? Everybody's like that. And we haven't really heard that narrative applied to money before. Which is one of the reasons why I think her financial situation is much more precarious than she has been fully telling us. We know that things have been expensive the last few months, especially Nada, but yeah, it's a lot. And she ends that portion with just being, yeah, I know this looks crazy to go back to him when I've told you all this stuff. And yes, it absolutely does, but it's not going to stop her. I stopped the live there because the latter third of it was literally her shitting herself. She didn't go up the stairs because I think at that point it came on so desperately that she didn't think she'd make it up the stairs, so she drove out, I think, to the woods, or maybe to a bathroom in a car park, something. She drove out somewhere, and that was that, and I didn't feel like burdening you with the feces stories. So we left it there. Guys, we've survived. That has been basically an entire cycle with Nada. I'm sure we're going to come back and she's going to be like, well, guys, you just don't understand, and you don't have to watch, but, you know, we're going to try because we love each other. I think that's going to be the next one, and thus we continue. So thank you very much for being here. I'm sorry it's been so long, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.